Good evening and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. I am Aaron. I am your game master. I survived a week in hell to get here tonight to play some Cubicle 7 Wrath and Glory set in the Warhammer 40K universe with a single mission. That's to kill at least one of these people to get some of my frustrations out. I may fail. I've been failing horribly the entire time, but I will try. But you should all stick around to the end of the stream, because at the end of the stream tonight, we are going to announce a special Wrath and Glory giveaway. So mourn some players at the end with me and listen up for a giveaway. What we're going to do is we're going to go through a review of what happened last time. Then we're going to meet our characters where they're at currently. Some of them are dying. So, I mean, I have a chance here. And then we're going to jump right back into the action. So if you remember, 2 weeks ago, our crew was brought up to the Ducal Coronet, and they met with Jackal Varonius himself, along with the two surviving Sisters of Silence. They were taken into his confidence and made direct agents of his will. They were no longer going to be answering to any of their own other factions, or even to Helene Varonius. The two Sisters of Silence were going to make their way through the Varonius flotilla in an attempt to find the traitor that sold out their monastery. And the rest of the group were going to transfer their living quarters to the Ducal Coronet so that they could ensure the secrecy of their group's purposes. They spent a couple of weeks resting, relaxing, mourning the loss of their friend Gavious, and getting to know their new teammate, the Space Marine Azrael Lazir, and we got to see some of his amazing melee skills at the last week. So we're going to recap that here in a bit. They were on the Ducal Coronet for a couple of weeks before they were sent a mission, actually to go back to Avacros, where they spend quite a bit of time, into the city of Balaxia, where they were that the Pacthertius Manufactorium, which was responsible for manufacturing most of the servitors for the Gilead system, has gone offline. And Jackal Varonius wants to get to the bottom of it. He wants to get the facility back online because the servitors are critical. He wants to know if this is a continuation of the plot or a subplot by the traitors within the flotilla to destabilize the Gilead system. And he wanted to see if the smuggling ring that the players have been tracking might have something to do with this as well. So they took their Arvis lighter down to the facility. They landed outside of the cordoned off zone, and they met with the current Administratum investigator, Matthias Bellathor, who gave them a briefing. He said that the Pacthertius Manufactorum is being on record of having failed their imperial tithe of creating servitors, that a joint investigation by the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Administratum personnel was launched about 2 standard Terran months ago to determine what was wrong at the Manufactorum. Some of the information is classified, and he did not have it himself. About a standard month ago, the Manufactorum was entered into a lockdown, and no servitors or personnel have left the facility since then. Armed servitors then deployed and were manning all main entrances to a degree that frontal assaults had been completely rebuffed and were no longer being attempted. But the only ways to dislodge the servitors, it was determined, would be to do a massive artillery strike, which would destroy the Manufactorum. So that was ruled out. About 2 weeks ago, well, a little over 2 weeks ago, a group of Administorum personnel into the facility to try to determine what was going on, and they have not been heard from since. So a week ago, a squadron of Skitari were sent into the facility to find out what happened to the Administratum personnel and to see what they needed to do to get the facility back online. Communication with the Skitari, who are Mechanicum personnel, was quickly lost, but over the Ranger's Vox for a short amount of time, an unintelligible stream of binary shrieking was broadcast. This lasted for about 6 hours before it was completely halted. Bellathor was able to provide basic blueprints for the facility and give the the team an idea that there are at least 3 floors above ground of the Manufactorum, and likely sub-levels that are on any of the blueprints. Wasn't too worried about the group of administrative personnel who went in, because basically felt that they were pencil pushers. However, the loss of the Scutari squad has kind of upset everyone because they were hardened soldiers. In addition, a few years ago, a rogue servitor was captured outside of the facility and held prisoner inside of a freezer unit Connex box. It was determined that this was, in fact, manufactured in the Manufactorum and within the last couple of weeks. So although no servitors have left the facility, it is still apparently manufacturing them. So the team was tasked with entering the facility, and the only way to do that was determined to go through the landing pad, the 3rd floor, and go into the 3rd floor area of the facility, which opens into the prisons, where the criminals would be taken before they were lobotomized to be prepared to be turned into servitors. With Sister Nora at the helm of this Arvis lighter, began their descent through the clouds towards the landing bay. At about 200 meters up, they were targeted by anti-air defense systems, multi-plasma and laser systems, and missiles. Sister Nora expertly guided the Arvis lighter into a landing, basically as it disintegrated around them. She touched down basically like a kissing a roof with no trauma. Everybody then moved out and were immediately engaged with a squad of heavily armed collapsed servitors. As well, and Wigron charged in with his flash Astartes knife, attacked 3 different servitors, opening them up for Wigbert to come in and finish them. However, these multi-barreled lasers that the were using cut a deep swath through the group. Everyone was getting heavily wounded. Birk moved into melee as well. The combat servitors, having lost several of their members, realizing that they were not to succeed. You guys heard that weird binary chatter again, and they all pulled a frag grenade out, activated it, and dropped it at their feet. The devastation was unbelievable, and almost everyone was severely injured in the combat. And that is where we stop. So where we pick up, we find Birk Talov lying prone on the ground, heavily injured, bleeding, and dying. We see Azrael Lazir exhausted by his efforts and heavily wounded. We see Sister Nora, who is somewhat shocked and wounded, but still on her feet and covering the roof. We see Wigbert Hahn himself exhausted by his efforts and on the verge of collapse. And then we see Sister Celeste standing back there, absolutely untouched, having been protected by the holy power of the Emperor himself. So let's take a minute to have the players tell us a little bit about their characters. Also, tell us what your current objective is or your new objective is. And then we'll see about getting into the 3rd floor of the Manufactorum. So let's start with Birk, our prone, beaten Fulgrite priest.
So Birk is his objective, should the All Messiah see fit to have him survive this, is to examine an interesting piece of technology, determine a flaw or potential improvement. And he is laying here. And I think we have to do a memorable. I don't think we did a memorable injury for me. Do we want to?
We did not. Yeah, let's do a memorable injury. So if you go into the table section, you should be able to pull that up and roll it.
Okay. So when all that was happening, I don't think I actually have one yet. I know I have a corruption thing, but so my memorable injury is I'm missing some fingers, which is interesting because I nearly cut off my finger today, like in real life. So it's perfect.
Oh, there you go. So which fingers got how did they get blown off by electrical discharge? How did it happen?
So the way I think it is that he had been overcharged from Sister Celeste. She had injected him with her usual buff, and he went charging in, swinging away. And maybe between the discharge of his weapon and the discharge of all of the various attacks, that they just sort of burnt away and kind of fused a bit to the edge of the staff. And so in some sort of downtime, he's literally going to try to like pry them away from where they're sticking to the staff itself. And we'll say it's like 2 fingers, maybe on his left hand. Like maybe it's his ring and his pinky, just like 2 of them where he had been gripping it as he was trying to spin it around when he fell.
I like it. All right, let's go over to Long. Tell us about Wigbert Hahn and his objective.
Death Cult Assassin, utilizing blind faith to achieve my goals.
Nice. Ashley?
I am Sister Celeste, or Palantine Celeste now. And she's just as fanatical, I like to think, as Wigbert, just in a different font, I guess you could say. And she still has the recall of why stricture her drill abbess laid down in its application to the current situation.
Nice. And Melissa?
So Sister Nura is now a seraphim. And one of the things that she did not remember as part of the level up is that she also got some crack grenades and frag grenades, which would have been really useful when we had a whole lot of thing that could have just blown up, but didn't remember that till after the session. So maybe that'll come into play again, and maybe she'll remember this time. She still did not recall a stricture her drill abbess laid down in its application to the current situation, so that is still her objective.
I like it. And last but not least, Justin.
Azrael is a member of the Dark Angels. He is a space marine with a affinity to murdering Xenos and the heretics. Also, just a whiz with a combat knife. Gets in there and just gets it done. And my goal for today is to practice one of the traditions or rituals of my chapter. That's what I'm going to try and do.
Nice.
Like making contact during combat?
That's not necessarily one of the rich traditions. Actually, one of the traditions is like letting people have a chance before I actually fight them. So I actually would have accomplished this last
setting
time.
someone else up before getting the... Oh, okay.
It's kind of like I like to play the handicap and help everybody else out. So
Sure. Got it.
Aren't you like a demigod or something? Everyone remembers that, right?
Kind of like a demigod. Demigod.
Okay,
demigod. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much, which is why I gave them a head start when I ran in there, you know?
That was very kind of you. I'm sure they appreciated it. So we set the scene. We're still on this landing pad. Before you are 2 great sealed double doors that would lead into the facility. The rain is pounding down. You're exhausted. You're beaten. You're bloody. And in some cases, you're dying or near death. I've reset your wrath points. Each of you have 2 wrath points. We've reset glory back to 0 and rune back to 5. What would you like to do?
We need to
you go ahead.
do some of you look very poor, and sister, we should probably I think Brother Talib looks
Celeste is already walking towards Talib and just getting to it. She helps drag them maybe in a line so that we can just bam, bam, bam.
And so Nura, being a little newer to sort of the Medicaid stuff, is kind of going over to Wigbert, and she keeps sort of doing that thing where she's like, she starts to do it, and then she's like, Celeste, is it this? And then you say yes, and then she does 2 things, and she's like, oh, and is it this? Is this the next thing that I do? Yes.
What are you asking questions for? Just stick your finger in and rip the shrapnel out.
Okay.
I like to imagine Wigbert does that himself, and he just flicks it to the side.
So I think what we're seeing here is a respite action where you take an hour or so, and in that, each person with the Medicaid skill, so that would be Wigbert, Celeste, and Nora, can heal one person for a total number of wounds equal to their total Medicaid dice pool.
Yeah,
So-
since Jeff is dying, I can actually heal him for 9.
Excuse me,
Wonderful.
Taloff is dying.
Sorry,
Careful.
Talov.
I'm in
Pardon, you're in
moderate
perfect health. But because he is dying, I get 2 additional dice in my dice pool, so that would make it 9.
Nice.
Or is it just my base dice pool?
Nope, you get the 2 extra.
Nice.
I won't take that away from you. So as you're working on Beric, he's going to heal 9 wounds. Sister Nora, how much are you able to help Wigbert?
6.
Okay, so you get 6 wounds back, Wigbert. And Wigbert, who are you helping?
Yeah, I finished myself off with a stim so I can reduce shock, and then I'm going to head over to Azrael and help him out.
Okay, so Azrael, you're able to heal 4 wounds.
Question about healing. So when you take wounds, I'm sorry, it's my first time dying, and you take wounds that exceed your normal allotment. So I had 11, but I took enough wounds to get me to 13. Do I actually go up to 13 and then I subtract? Okay.
Nope. You basically go to 0, and then if you got wounded again after that, you would just start taking traumatic injuries, but you don't go negative.
I'm also going to burn a wrath point to get back some shock during this time as well.
And so anybody who wants to burn a wrath point, you will get 4 shock back.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
All right.
Me too.
So the rain continues to pound down for the hour that you guys are being triaged. The doors do not open. They stay completely shut. You see the servitors around you, though. The biological components of them begin to degrade and decay much more rapidly than they should. I mean, they don't go to skeletons, but you can actually see tissue degradation happening in real time. And you see all the augments in them fuse as if there was some residual programming within the augments that caused them to burn out. So you just smell this acrid smell of burning metal and wire and plastics, and you just see these bodies slowly begin to decay. But the hour passes. You're feeling, I mean, you're back on your feet. You're obviously still walking wounded, some of you, but you know that you're on the clock. And you are facing these 2 double doors.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Were any of these servitors having, did they have a chain sword on them?
No, they all just had those multi-laser cannons, and they were actually part of their body. They replaced their right arm.
Damn it. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thought one of them might have one. I might be able to swipe it up.
But you would expect that perhaps either the Administratum forces that came in with augmented arbiters, they might have had one, or maybe the Skitari. Who knows?
All right, so I guess I can go up and examine the doors, see if there's anything we can do to get inside.
Okay, give me an difficulty 3 investigation.
I'm not great at that, but I'll try. It says my DN's 4. I guess
It's because you're wounded still.
Oh, okay. Well, this is gonna be impossible for me.
You'll be fine. 3. Okay, so you can't really. I mean, it's advanced technology. I will tell you this. I mean, it looks completely sealed, but you can also tell that there is an access port. You just don't know how to You don't know how to access it. Like on the right-hand side of the door, sort of Star Wars style, some sort of.
Talov, why don't you go ahead and take a look at this? Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this wrong. Talov, my compatriot, come take a look at this access port to the side of this door.
So Talov had been meditating. So he had kind of been on his knees, and he was letting Celeste work on him. And although he doesn't have his eyes closed, he's been meditating, and this is sort of him regaining his shock. And he hears the voice, doesn't say anything, stands up, and that's the point when he notices like the fingers fused to the grip of his staff, and he just peels them off and throws them off to the side, and then wanders up towards where Azael is and kind of waits for Haster Cravo to come to, and then he'll take a look and see if there's anything he can do. You
automatically notice a standard Mechanicum access port for like a mechadendrite or anything else to make a tech link for a binary command to openers.
What I think there would be, okay, so is there a way I could potentially bypass it, or is there something perhaps in the fused augmetics behind us that I might be able to get to like jury rig and sort of find our way in that way?
You're pretty sure that with just your basic tech skills, unless there's been a significant change to how this door would operate, that you would probably be able to use your own binary code to bypass the locking mechanism.
Is there a way I can make sure can I examine it to see if it's if it's going to send a signal like for indicating someone somewhere that it's actually been opened or accessed? Is there some way I can maybe like kind of cloak the door, like so the door doesn't seem like it's opening, like the access point isn't being opened when we try to go through?
Yeah, I would say that. So it's a difficulty 6 tech check to get the door to open. If you get 8 successes, I'll say you're able to actually put a code command in there to isolate transmission of information through the door.
Okay, I will give it a go. You said a difficulty 6, is that right?
Difficulty 6, yes.
All right, here goes with Haster Cravo. Give that a rip.
Yep.
That is 7 successes. I will go ahead. I'll go ahead and do it. I'll go ahead and spend the wrath. That's fine. And see if we can get to 8 and try to make us go in a little bit more. Let's see what I can do. All right, that's 10 successes with 1 shift.
Nice.
So more effective, maybe something like that. If I can shift that into.
Absolutely. We'll do it faster and more quiet. But so you link with this door. You link with the machine spirit in this door. And the moment you make contact, everything seems to stop for a moment. Everything goes black. You feel in your skull almost like there's wriggling motions, almost as if your eyeballs are rolling behind the skin that's over your face. You feel liquid glass coursing through you, tearing away at your mind, at your core self, but at the same time, you smell something sweet and you feel uplifted. And then you hear this chant thrumming behind your thoughts, and it's just calling you. Brother, 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 awaken. Help. Brother, awaken. Help. Brother, awaken. Help. And then, in that moment, at that crescendo, the blackness fractures and light floods back in. And blood and a little bit of oil trickles out of your nose as you feel the machine spirit and the door die. And you're pushed back from your connection. And then you see the door slam open and then slam shut, and then just this random horrible cacophony of noise as the door opens and closes, opens and closes. With your successes, you're able to pick up very crude binary code in the sound of the doors opening and close. And it's just over and over again screeching, abandon hope, abandon hope, abandon hope. and then it stops. And the doors slightly part open, and you can see into the 3rd floor of the manufactory.
He'll turn to face Azrael, and you can see he's got the blood and the oil kind of coming down. He'll repeat first, like almost like in binary, but then he quickly shifts, realizing who he's speaking to, and tries to convey the feeling, like there's a collective voice communicating. Did this have any feeling similar to that kind of rogue signal that we were examining? Did it have any kind of effect? Did it like impact me the same way that we've heard maybe or at least observed that one from last time?
Give me a difficulty 3 insight check. You can take a bonus from your servo skull because it's technologically related.
Okay. All right. Difficulty 3, you said?
Difficulty 3.
All right. Here we go. Nope. That's only 1, and I don't have anything else to push it. So, yeah.
What you primarily felt was the machine spirit of the door.
Okay.
Begging somebody to save it.
Okay.
There was the undercurrent, the darkness, the whispering in the back of your mind felt like that binaric chatter, but you're not able to really isolate intent. It's almost like a subconscious stream of thought that was invading your mind. But it had clearly, whatever it was that pushing against your mind and your cortical implants had overridden the will of the mean spirit of the door. That's what you get out of this.
Okay, so if that's the case, he'll convey, he'll offer like a prayer of some kind for the death of the machine spirit, and then he'll turn away from Azrael without listening to his response and go to Wigbert, and will just say, "Should something take me over, it is on you to ensure I do not endanger the mission." And then, again, not waiting for a response, turns back around and joins the front line again.
So you're facing, so these two doors, they've opened, they're about 3 feet spread apart. It's fairly dark when you look in, and it's just like, there's just red emergency lighting along the floor. But what you're looking into is the jail cells of the prison complex here on the 3rd floor. What would you like to do?
I'll step out in front and I'll start leading down the pathway.
So you're gonna move past the doors and in? Okay.
Before he goes in, do I see any traps or anything? Like immediately?
Give me a difficulty 3 awareness check.
Okay.
Or investigate. Awareness or investigate, either one.
I'm gonna do awareness. 9 successes.
Wow.
So, you see everything. You do not see any traps. You don't see any indication that there is any kind of pressure plates on the floor. You don't hear the hum of any primed energy weapons. But in the distance, deep down among the cells, you think you see movement. But it's too far away for you and too dark for you to get a real fix on it.
Okay, and so she'll call that out, just to Azrael as he's letting in to just be wary of and quiet.
Can I lead forward stealthily?
Absolutely. Give me a stealth check. Now, okay, 2 successes. You go in as stealthily as you can. Is anybody following him?
Yeah, I'm right behind him.
All right. Can you go ahead and move yourself in?
And I'll follow Wigbert. Then I'll be 3rd in.
Nura will bring up the rear.
I got you. There's like a little invisible wall there that non-GMs can't pull them across. So we should be good now.
All right. So when you get in, when you're all in, you hear again a very low binary chatter. It's almost so low you can't hear it. But as soon as you perceive it, everything goes black. All of the lights are off. And then a heartbeat later, blinding light illuminates the entire space. And then just at random intervals, at millisecond intervals, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. And you get this horrible strobing effect. Even those of you in power armor, your sensors are almost being overloaded by the quick change between absolute dark and this blinding light. I need everybody to make a difficulty 4 toughness test for me.
Failed.
Also fail.
Also fail.
No. Fail with a wrath complication.
I passed the wrath critical.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that complication, Celeste.
Okay. And then do my shifts from my awareness test, can I put those to glory?
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. Warp interference. The chaos gods are watching. For a moment, you feel the eye of one of the ruinous powers upon you. They frighten you, learn one of your secrets, or cause a supernatural mishap.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to save that for a little bit. I will say, Azrael, with your wrath critical, what I'm going to do is Talav, Celeste, and Nora all got 3 successes. I will let you allow one of them to succeed. So basically, one of them will effectively have gotten 4 successes.
I think it might be best for Talav, just in case of something. It's binary, and he's the only one who can understand the hell's going on. So choose you, Pokemon.
I am critical to the mission.
So the rest of you, those of you who failed, are hindered. So that means it's all of the tests that you're going to do while this phenomenon is going on. The difficulty increases by 1 for all of them. And if you go to the back of your character sheet, you could check hindered and the conditions that you won't have to remember to do it if you would like. But it continues, this pounding light and darkness, pounding light and darkness. And you see around you in these strobing flashes, this row, this hallway, and on either side of the hallway are these cells. And as you walk past them, you see that each one of them is empty. The doors are open. There are no bodies. There are no corpses. There's no one and nothing apparently alive in this building. What would you like to do?
Just keep progressing forward slowly. Kind of.
Now, do you want to go straight down the main hall, or you can go to the north, you can go to the south? There's multiple rows of these prison cells. And, I mean, you guys have seen the maps. You're aware of that. You know that on this floor there's also a medical bay, and that there is an administratum office complex on this floor. And then, of course, there are elevators that go down to the second floor to the north of you.
Do we want to split up?
I think so.
I'll take the upper northern corridor. I'll start heading towards that northeastern corner of the northern corridor, and I'll slowly start moving forward. Can I see if there's been a struggle with the cages being opened up? Maybe investigate kind of what I see in the area.
Give me an investigate or an awareness, difficulty 3.
I will. I'm gonna reroll.
Okay, spend a wrath point
Wrath.
and reroll.
Okay.
5 successes. Okay. So as you're going by and you're looking down these halls and you're checking out these cells as you pass by, you see nothing unexpected. You see no signs of violence. You see no blood. You see no bodies. The only thing you do really notice in this strobing light is it appears that nobody has been in these cells for several weeks. You're seeing light layers of dust over things. It almost feels like this prison has not been used for weeks. Okay. So, Wigbert, as you see Azrael move off to the north, where would you like to go?
I'll head straight down the center.
All right. Is there anybody joining Wigbert straight down the center?
No, I would say seeing people kind of branching off, I would say Anura would go to the south corridor.
Okay, go ahead and move yourself down there. And Palatine Celeste, where are you headed to?
Yeah, she'll move forward with Wigbert.
Okay. Leaving us with Birk. Where's Brother
turns
Talon?
around and leaves. No, he goes with Nura.
Okay. All right. So
Demigod can handle himself, and then Wigbert and Celeste are together. He'll go with Nura.
So
we all went middle. No, only Azrael separated.
For all three of the corridors to the north, he's got them all.
I like it. Go ahead and give me awareness checks. Wigbert and Celeste first.
I got a 3.
Okay. Okay.
Well, no.
You went from seeing everything to seeing nothing.
No,
I
have wrath. 8.
So
there
Wigbert,
you go.
Oh, okay.
2 shifts.
Well, yeah. So you can go ahead and put those in glory, or I can give you more information, whatever you'd like.
I'll use 1 for info, 1 for glory.
Okay. As you guys are scanning down this middle corridor, you hear the sounds of something shuffling, possibly moving further down the corridor in the cells. And with 8 successes, I'll say even in this horrible light, you're able to see a group of servitors, warden model servitors, walking out of cells and approaching you. Now, they're not heavily armed like the combat servitors from before. They each have a hydraulic claw replaces their left hand, and they've got shock mauls in their right hands. But as they approach you, you hear them chattering in binary. But in low Gothic, they just say, "Return to your cell for processing. Return to your cell for processing." While that is going on, Sister Nura and Birk, as you go down the southern corridor, why don't you guys give me an awareness check?
Okay. Not so bad. Am I worse still?
I don't think so.
6 successes, 1 shift possible, and a wrath critical.
All right.
So shift will be like more effective. So if, like increase the quality, basically.
3
what I will
successes.
say is both of you also hear a group of these warden servitors, these prison servitors, come out of cells. However, they don't chatter or say anything. I'm going to say that with your critical, Birk, you both of you hear them, but you're able to pull Nura down as soon as you see them, and they are currently not aware that you are there. They may be reacting to wardens in another part of the prison. All right, Azrael, as you walk down that corridor, give me an awareness check. Difficulty 3.
Got it.
All right, with 3 successes, as you walk down the corridor, you hear nothing. You see nothing. Just these empty, dusty cells. All right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Can I work my way back since these... Obviously, there's nothing here.
You absolutely can start to make your way back. But we're going to start first with Wigbert and Celeste. You see these 8 warden servitors moving towards you to corral you into cells. What would you like to do?
How dangerous are these things?
I mean, there are 8 of them. They're nowhere near as dangerous, from what you can tell, from your expert opinion as a Death Cult assassin. I mean, they're armed with shock mauls and a hydraulic claw, so they're obviously intended to pacify and capture, because they want to make sure that the bodies, the people in these cells, are fairly healthy so they can be converted into servitors. So you expect they would be attempting to use non-lethal force to capture you, as opposed to the lethal force from the combat servitors from the landing pad. They're also much smaller. I mean, these are man-sized servitors, so they're not the hulking Ogren-sized servitors from outside.
Okay, in this column, is there like an open cell I can just hop into?
Every one of these cells are open. Yep, you can hop into any one.
Yeah, I'll just walk into one to see if they ignore me afterwards.
Okay. So we see Wigbert walk into his cell. It's the warden's turn at this point. They continue to advance, and now they are just looking at Sister Celeste. And they're just saying, return to your cell. And you see their shock mauls are lifted. What do you do? So we're going to put Wigbert in this cell since he's right next to it.
I guess she will start walking away like she's heading towards her cell. Like it's, and she's going to start heading this way to like group up.
Okay. As soon as you start to move off of the cell line, they charge and attack you. Of course, they're probably not going to do particularly good against you, but we'll see what they can do.
But there's 8 of them.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a mob. They're mobbing you.
Yeah.
It's hack and slash time.
11 successes. I'm assuming that's higher than your defense.
Yeah, my defense is 3.
Okay, so 3 possible shifts. They'll just shift for damage. Okay, what is your resilience and armor total?
Resilience is 10.
That's nice. So it takes it down to 9 because it's AP 1. So you take 5 wounds and 5 points of shock. These are agonizing weapons.
Yeah, I'm
as
taking
these shock mauls are just slamming into Celeste as they're trying to knock you unconscious so they can throw you in a cell. But Wigbert, you are correct. They have completely ignored you once you went back in your cell. However, you guys hear a spike and that chatter, and your cell door seals shut. Birk and Nura, so you see 8 more of these wardens coming out of cells, but they haven't seen you, but you hear Sister Celeste groan, and Birk, you definitely recognize the sound of shock mauls discharging into ceramite and flesh somewhere near you. What do you guys want to do?
Can we carefully retreat back and away from the ones that are in our row and see if we can get an eye, get a visual on what's happening in the row over where Wigbert and Celeste went?
Give me stealth checks, both of you. We'll see how well you do.
Okay. All right.
I'm not so stealthy, so you know.
Neither am I. Neither am I. So it's fine. Okay.
Well, as is the way, Jeff's character is fine with stealth, and Melissa's character ruins it for him.
So we see Birk. I mean, he just almost shifts into the shadows of this blinking, horrible light, and the motive force is strong with him, and he just almost flows with energy around the corner. However, Nura, as you stand, your ceramite boot just slams down on this tile, and you hear behind you now these wardens. You hear that binary chatter, and then you hear, "Return to your cells or be subdued," as they begin to rapidly move towards you. Birk, you are still hidden from all groups of these warden servitors. You see 8 of them currently trying to shock Celeste into submission. You hear the 8 that you recognized before moving up behind you. What would you like to do?
So, are they all... okay. So, are they all kind of clumped together?
Yeah, they are all surrounding Celeste. I mean, they're basically, it's just like a prison movie where all the guards are just circling this one person and just beating the crap out of her.
What I would like to do, and this might be too much, but I would like to do is turn my staff sideways and charge into the group that's going for whichever one of the sisters I'm closest to. Actually, no, whichever one is by an open cell, and see if I can just sort of like just push a couple of them to the cell and like just jam the like the control harness to see if I can just get a few of them compartmentalized in a way.
I'm excited by this. Now I'm going to call this a multi-action because it's not a multi-attack. Sure. So it's going to be +2 difficulty to each one of these. It's going to be, so the first one is going to be an athletics check. So it's the athletics. You're trying to push a couple of them into the cells. The second one is going to just be a straight tech test.
Okay.
So
what's the difficulty for the athletics?
The difficulty for the athletics is going to be against their agility, so it's going to be difficulty 3.
All right, so difficulty 3.
But I'm going to say, since they're not aware of you, this is basically an ambush scenario. Now, normally with an ambush, the enemy doesn't get to take an action. They've already taken their action. So because they've already done their action, I'm not going to penalize you for the fact that you're coming on them secretly. I'm going to give you +2.
Okay. +2. All right. Here we go. 2 successes. That is not enough. I don't have any wrath, unfortunately. I've already used all of mine. So, yeah, that's a fail.
Okay. So you get in there. You make contact. But they're massive enough, and they're clumped together enough. They're not actually able to push them in direction. Mm-hmm. But you are now in there, and they are aware of you now.
Okay.
And since you obviously weren't able to push them, your second part of your multi-action is not effective at this point.
Well, can I shift it to a different thing then? Because can I do something else?
Yeah. What would you like to do?
Just attack him then. If I can't push him in,
what
I
would you
just
like
want
to try?
Attack him. I would just like to...
So your difficulty... because you're no longer surprising them, but you can now do a single attack, and it's +2 difficulty. So their defense is 4, so it's difficulty 6.
All right, I will try. Okay. This is going to end up being a 7 for me because I'm injured and stuff. So that's 5 successes. That's still no good. Still no good. Just
so you're pushing against them. They kind of lurch up. You go to swing, and the distance is just a little off. This light, even though you've successfully dealt with it, is still just the distance. It's just kind of pushing you off your distance. Azrael, give me a difficulty 3 awareness test. Wrath complication, but you succeeded. So let's roll the wrath complication.
I didn't because I'm wounded, so it's
so I had to get 4 successes. Okay, so give me your wrath complication. Okay, so we're just going to do it a physical. So what you were doing is while you were looking through these cells, you just got kind of caught. I mean, you're a big guy, and you were clearing a cell, and you came out, and the pauldron of your armor got kind of caught in one of the cell doors, and you're trying to pull yourself free, and you do relatively quickly, but because of the noise you're making yourself, you don't hear the combat going on at the moment in the main rows. So you're still moving down and towards them, but you're not aware that anything is going on in the southern half of the prison. Sister Nura, what would you like to do?
Let's see. So Helov went to those, and then so we've got another one that is so Talov is a little bit north in a different corridor, and Nura is in the southern corridor. So she would like to see what she can do about this other servitor that has come up.
The other 8
and it's just so
servitors.
Sorry, is there just one that's in the southernmost corridor?
No, they are groups of 8. They're squads of 8. So it's a mob of 8 servitors.
You got grenades.
Just one
girl.
token, but
I do.
and I
yes.
think, I mean, and so I don't know. Some of your weapons might have auto fire or spread capabilities or something, but definitely grenades as well. So
yeah, I don't believe the Inferno pistol has. It's just a Melta pistol.
okay, so it's just a plasma beam. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I do have a frag grenade, so that seems like a thing that would take out a group of 8 things.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, so with area effect weapons, I just need a difficulty 3 test for that to see how well you're placing your grenade as you throw it.
Is that agility or athletics or?
I think it's just a ballistic skill. Sorry.
Oh, sweet.
Yep, you definitely succeeded.
8 successes.
You definitely succeeded. And because their servitors are not that intelligent, they are not going to try to dodge out of the way because they're assuming you're an escaped prisoner, not somebody with grenades. So they've just got very rudimentary processors, so they don't even try to get out. So let's see some damage.
Okay, so the base damage. So I'm not entirely sure how to roll this because it didn't show up. Oh, I probably should have done this. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I should have done this the other way. So I already did the roll, but I need to sort of roll again to get it to work in Foundry. So ignore this first part, which hopefully will be a success so that I can... it wasn't a success, so I can't roll damage. Gosh darn it. So the damage it's 10 damage and 4 ED.
Just give yourself back that wrath point I just spent for you and just roll damage now.
Okay, thank you.
And ignore the complication, obviously, because you didn't roll it on the first one.
Okay. It's not rolling.
Oh, maybe because I did it. Okay.
Can you...
12 damage, blast 6. You had 2 possible shifts. Do you want that to go into damage? Or
I don't. So I had yes.
Okay. So they've got 7, 9, 14, 5. Got. Okay, so you see this. You throw this crack grenade. It lands in the middle of them, towards the front of this group, and detonates. And you see the shrapnel move out. It almost feels like slow motion for you, as you see it tear through the legs and then the hips and the chests of 6 of these servitors, and that turns the lower half of their body into this mist of blood and oil as their inert torsos fall to the ground. 2 of them towards the back were not hit, and they are now moving quickly to engage you.
Okay.
But there are only 2 left. And we are at the top of the round. I will say with the grenade going off.
Actions? Does that count for 2 actions? Is it like a grab the grenade and throw the grenade, like 2 actions in combat?
No, I give you a free action for pulling the grenade. You can still move.
Okay. I might, just because I'm not entirely sure how smart they are. If one of these doors is open, I may just step back behind the door.
Well, I mean, they're cell doors, so you'd have to. I mean, you'd be the cell doors are sliding doors, so you'd have to be stepping into a cell.
Yeah, I will just move myself to the west a little bit and around the corner.
I like it. So we're at the top of the round. Azrael, you definitely heard the crack grenade go off, so you are no longer unaware of combat.
What was it? So she attacked the ones in the southern end. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
corridor.
You're not. You know something. You heard a crack grenade go off, but from where you're at the moment, you don't see any assailants. But you're obviously something is going on because somebody just chucked a grenade.
Am I able to charge blindly around the corner and start working towards that group?
You are able to use your action and your move action to get down into the corridor, but you will not. You will, if you're coming into the main corridor, you get to here, kind of next to Byrrc. Well, actually, Byrrc's engaged.
Could I get enough around the corner to be able to see and then start shooting my bolt gun, or is that too much action?
No, yeah, that's too much action. You've got your movement action and your combat action will get you around the corner, but that's it.
All right.
If you want to take a multi-action, you could take 2 movement actions and then try to fire your bolt pistol, but then it's +4 to your difficulty.
All right. So can I sneakily work towards, since I heard it happen, sneakily at least work towards the corner there and just peer around the corner without being detected?
Absolutely.
So
I mean, you could definitely give it a shot. You did your stealth roll, so it's just a matter of whether or not their passive awareness is greater than your stealth roll.
Okay.
So as you look around the corner, you see Byrrc basically in melee combat with a group of 8 human-sized servitors carrying shock mauls with hydraulic claws for left arms. Under sort of the pile of them, you see the Palatine Celeste in the middle of them, just being shocked relentlessly. So that is your guys' action, unless somebody wants to spend a point of glory and seize the initiative.
I would like to.
Thought you might.
Go ahead.
I would like to, because I'm on the ground, and just blast my flamer up on everyone kind of hitting me.
I'm super excited about this. So are you trying to hit? Now, talk to us about flamer. Does it have spread?
That's a great. So my heavy flamer. It's fire and Imperium are the keywords. It doesn't look like it has anything like multi-attack.
Well, you can do a multi-attack. It's just so when you use your flamer, just tell me however many of them you want to attack, and we'll just increase the difficulty for each roll. So.
Oh, it says its traits are flamer, heavy 6, reliable. Whatever that means.
Okay. Heavy 6 or reliable.
Can I do like the salvo thing where I just do all of?
Does it have a salvo rating?
It says salvo 2.
Okay, then yes you can. So with salvo 2, you can do a spray shot. It counts as your you make a multi-attack, reducing the difficulty by the salvo amount. So if you just attack 2, there would be no change in the difficulty. If you want to attack 3, the increase for your difficulty for all shots is 2. If you want to attack 4, the difficulty would be 4, and so on and so on. So basically, you can attack 2 for free, and then after that, each additional one increases every shot by 2.
I would like to try and attack 3. Okay. I have it equipped, but when I click on it to roll, it doesn't let me roll still.
Let me pull you up and see what's going on here. It's equipped. Let me see if I can. Okay, it'll let me roll, so I'll go ahead and roll for you. Their defense is 4, since you're attacking 3 of them, the difficulty becomes 6. We're just going to roll the attack and damage once. If you hit, you're going to hit all of them for the same amount of damage.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Ashley.
So
I've never used it before. That's so cool.
So do you want to shift for... Are you going to use your shift for extra damage?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this heavy flamer goes off, and Birk, what you see is you're like slamming into the outside of this group. Azrael, you see from around the corner, you just see this gout of holy flame scour out, and you see 3 of the 8 of these servitors immediately immolate, and the heat and fire almost instantaneously bubbles all of the remaining flesh off of their bodies. The bones char, the plastics and metal fuse, and you get that horrid smell of burning plastic. And 3 of these servitors collapsed. The other 5 are not smart enough to recognize the danger they're in. And seeing 3 of their others fall, they will attack you. But now, the mob is much smaller. So again, these shock balls come down on Sister Celeste. Return to your cell. Do not resist. See, not so good. And your defense is 3?
Correct.
So they succeeded. 15 AP 1, so 16 with the shift.
No.
Your resilience is 10,
Thank you.
though.
I will pass on that. The Emperor protects.
Gonna spend some. All right.
Yeah.
So, what does it look like as you spend this point of your holy energy? Describe again what it looks like when the Emperor's hand reaches down to protect Palatine Celeste.
This time, the hand is it's almost as if it's part of the flame, as it's almost just like this hand just reaches down and just slams on top of Celeste, so she's surrounded beneath it, and all of their attacks are just hitting like the fingers or the back of the hand, and then once it kind of stops, the hand dissipates.
And Birk, and actually Wigbert, because you're in a cell, and Azrael, that's exactly what you see. I mean, you see these shock balls descending, and Birk, you've never seen anything like this. You just see what looks like a giant hand coming down like a cage around Palatine Celeste, these glowing spiritual fingers of this holy radiance. And these shock balls are just slamming into this cupping hand that is gently holding Celeste in its grasp. And the energy is just dissipating around her. The motive force of electricity is just bleeding off into the celestial force, as Celeste is protected from the wardens. Bringing us back to your guys' turn. Who wants to go? We've got 2 servitors coming up the southern hall with Sister Nora down there. We've got Wigbert in a cell. Birk, you're faced up against these other 5 that are still alive.
And those 5 have gone, right? So Nura, you might want to go before the other ones go.
They have gone, yep.
Okay, then I will see about shooting. So I want to do a multi-attack. So shoot at 1 each with each of my Inferno pistols.
Okay, do you have dual weapon fighting?
Oh no, that's right.
Well, it's okay, you can do it. Dual weapon fighting would just reduce the multi-attack penalty. You can still totally do this. So yeah, it's just +2 difficulty for each shot against them, and their defense is 4, so your target number is 6.
Okay. Come on, good roll. This is with the right hand. It's a success of 2.
Spend a wrath point if you want.
Oh, that's right, because I do have a wrath point back because I didn't actually spend it last time.
And don't forget, if you guys manage to pull your objective off, you get another wrath point back. So, when and where possible, work that wrath point and that objective.
Yeah, so this would be the point, because she did not get healed up at all, so she's still kind of working with some wounds from kind of the one above, and so she's gonna, kind of mutter some things under her breath about, pain being temporary, and I'll heal up her and whatnot to focus herself on these, because it hurts to lift these 2 because she's wounded.
I like it.
So I will spend a wrath to reroll failed and still not succeed.
Close. How about your second shot?
Okay. Second shot plus 2. Hold on, let me get that other wrath in there so that it shows appropriately. When I go to do this again, plus 2. Roll.
Oh.
Good gracious. Okay, so I am going to spend my other wrath plus a glory.
Nice.
So I'll roll an extra d6 after I do this. And
nice. Okay.
Still got exactly 6 successes. Okay.
So roll damage.
19 damage, AP 4.
So what's it look like? So the first shot goes wide, but then you get center on the other one.
So the first one I imagine is, let's say she got injured sort of on that arm. And so she kind of lifts the first one and goes to shoot, and it's just not quite clicking quite right because of the injury. And so then the other one is her left hand. And she's got the left eye traumatic injury, augmetic eye. And so it's just that split second extra with the left eye that she can just aim just a little bit better. And just, Inferno pistol with the Melta trait. Just, center mass.
We see this hot streak of plasma hit this thing center mass. And it burns a hole about the size of a basketball through this thing's chest. And you can just smell the flesh cooking and the smell of searing bone. And it takes a couple of more steps forward and then just sort of looks down at the hole in its chest, and then it just sort of folds over. And then there was one servitor charging at Sister Nura. All by himself. And he's got his shock maul raised, and he's not yelling. They don't ever raise their voices. Return to your cell for preparation, for conversion. And he strikes out with his shock maul. What's your defense?
3.
So he hits. We're going to roll damage first, and then we'll do the complication. Okay, what is your total resilience?
10.
10. Okay, it's AP 1, 9. So you're going to take 3 wounds, but you can roll determination if you want to transfer some of those to shock. Or
okay, so 1.
So 1 shock, 2 wounds.
Okay.
As the shock maul comes down, I think what happens is he strikes you so hard, and he's used to prisoners in prison garb. He's not used to ceramite power armor. So he brings the shock maul down, it hits the ceramite, and the shock maul shatters. So he has disarmed himself. That's the complication for it.
Nice.
So he's just standing there. He's just kind of pounding his fist against your armor now as the shock maul disintegrates in his hand. But it's back to you guys.
I'm going to charge an attack. So I'm going to charge an attack with my bolt gun.
Okay.
So again, it would
well,
be
charging's melee. So you're gonna aim with your bolt gun. Are you doing a salvo attack, or are you?
Actually, I'll charge an attack with my combat knife. Round 2 with the combat knife.
Okay.
I'll do that. This is one guy. Let's see how this goes.
Okay, so just going up against one of the guys. Got it.
All right, so I'll charge and attack with combat knife. So I roll the combat knife. Is that what I do?
Yep, she's able to roll the combat knife. Okay, you dig into this servitor. Roll damage. 11 AP 1. 3. So you dig into this thing and you tear a huge gash through it, and you can see. I mean, the hole you open up in its torso is big enough you could see the last remnants of its biological organs, the ones that were required for it to function, are exposed to the air. But it is still on its feet, but only barely.
So
but it's still you guys' turn. All of the servitors have gone.
I have a question real quick.
Yep.
It says I can add 1 rank icon to any successful attack against a mob.
Yep.
So did that affect at all with what the damage was, or?
That's to attack.
Okay. And then also technical versatility. If I hit a critical hit, I may roll twice on the critical hit table to choose either results. Does that matter what happened? I don't know. What does a critical hit look like in this?
It'll pop up and say Wrath Critical.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure that I'm not missing anything because it's a whole new character.
Oh no, yeah, definitely, and it's good for everybody to see because I mean the Adeptus Astartes implants all have different small abilities that they grant to a Space Marine. So definitely go through all of them. So that we all become familiar with them.
Yeah. All right. I just want to make sure because, like, I get an additional critical hit table.
Yep. You get to roll twice and take the best. Which I'm
sure.
not exactly sure how we'll do in Foundry, but we'll figure it out. Well, we can just pull up the critical hit table and do it. So okay. So it's horribly damaged, but still on its feet. I believe we still have Wigbert and Birk left.
Yeah. So how many of the servitors are around Celeste still? Weren't there like a couple left? Like, wasn't there a mob of 5?
Yeah, there's 5. Well, there's 5. One has been grievously injured now, and there are 4 remaining.
Okay. And they are mobs, right? Like this is like the.
It is a mob of 5 servitors. Yeah, it counts as a mob.
Okay. So yeah. So then, Am I already in melee range with them, or do I need to move to get into range with them?
You are already in melee range with them.
Okay.
Because you ran up to push them, so you're right there.
Okay. If that's the case, then I am going to do a wild attack. It's called wild attack for me. That's the talent. So I'm making an all-out attack, which is going to reduce my defense when it comes to my turn, but it does give me extra dice on my attack. So, and potentially extra damage. All right. So seeing Sister Celeste and this strange aura come around her, she mutters, the Emperor protects, but that's not what Talaf mutters.
The Heavenly Messiah has gifted you this power. It calls the Force to protect you, and so I shall as well.
And he will, invigorated, will swing and try to protect her. So, plus rank bonus dice, and then the shock stuff happens if I hit. So,
are you just attacking one, or are you going to do a multi-attack?
So with mobs, I can attack one, and if I just go over, if I get extra icons, it'll still spill over. So I'm just going to attack the one to not take the hit penalty.
I like that.
All right. So, okay. What's my difficulty?
Difficulty is 4.
Okay. 4. All right. All right, so where'd that go? Sorry. So it's going to be 5 for me because of my wound, but I'm going to go for it nonetheless. It's not increasing it, but I'll do it manually. Oh, there it goes. It's being silly. Stop being silly. Okay.
Stop it.
All right. So that is 8 successes, 1 shift possible, which will go to damage. Okay. So yeah, 8 successes. And then damage-wise, I will also take a point of glory to put an extra bit of damage onto this as well. So there'll be this, whatever I roll, +2. And that's going to be 19 points of damage, AP4, agonizing and brutal.
Okay, 5.
So he starts wading in, just flailing around with the staff, wild arcs of electricity, just following each swing of the staff.
Okay, so what's it look like when you destroy 3 of these servitors?
It's just, honestly, it's just, he's moving almost as fast as electricity, I think, at that point. Like the staff, at the very least, if not his body. And so you just see this coursing electricity from, like, his capacitor on his back, charging through his arms, out onto the staff itself. And he's just burning one and the other out, until he takes a deep breath, and there's just 2 left, and he's standing next to Sister Celeste at this point. And
Palatine Celeste, as you see this, as you see Beer move like this whirling dervish of electricity, you feel and see the aura of this hand protecting you almost link with the energy that Birk is giving off, the motive power, and it swirls together. Really, you're the only one who notices it, but you see within this blue coursing electricity, you see motes of pure white power. And you know, regardless of whether or not it's the Omnissiah or the Emperor on his golden throne, you know the power of your faith has helped Birk eliminate 3 of these servitors. We see that flashing electricity fades for a second, and then we see Wigbert Hahn in a cell. What would you like to do?
There's space enough in this between the bars of the doors that I can stick my head in and contort myself out.
I like, no one else could possibly do this, but a death cult assassin who's trained to dislocate every single joint of their body definitely has the chance to do it. So give me a difficulty 5 athletics check.
It's quite a lot. What are the ways to increase my dice pool again? Is like Wrath or Glory can do that?
After you fail, you can spend a Wrath point to re-roll your failures and spend a point of Glory to get an extra dice at the same time.
So I'll spend the Wraith with some Glory here. I'll do 2. Okay, that's a lot.
Okay,
I think that's 6 total.
So what does it look like? What's it look like to everybody else as you escape from the cell?
Yeah, I just ram my head into the open space, and my shoulders, my back, my elbows, every joint starts getting more liquefied. I start spewing out the space like sewage out of a pipe and just flop to the ground.
I love it.
Leave some for me.
So that's what you see. Azrael and Sister Celeste and Birk, you hear this horrible popping noise, and you glance over and you see Wigbert's head crammed through these bars, and you think his cheekbones have to be fracturing, but then they somehow just sort of shift, and you hear them click out of place, and his jaw dislocates and his head almost flattens, and then it pops out, and you see both of his shoulder joints pop out, and he flops through, and then as he gets up in this kind of reverse crab, you hear everything popping back into place as he slowly oozes up from this puddle of flesh and distended bone, and retakes the form of Wigbert Hahn.
Beric looks at Wigbert when he does this, his face turns that direction, but then he looks past him at the cell, and he will mark how it is a design flaw to allow any space for one such as you to bypass it. A proper engineering schematic, anyone who is worth their weight would ensure that there is pure airtight. You would never be able to escape. You are lucky I did not design this prison. as I'm trying to complete my objective.
Yes, you got it. You absolutely got it.
Thanks, Wigbert.
And that brings us round to the top of round 3.
Does anybody need wrath?
I am out of it.
Completely out of wrath. I can. I mean, I spend my combat action to do righteous wrath, which gives me 2 and gives. I can then give one of them to somebody else.
It's up to you. Wigbert, do you want to go first since you haven't got to actually attack anything yet?
Yeah.
You just popped out of here like some weird contortionist. If you want to finish.
Look for any of the remaining wardens.
Yeah, there are several up and around Celeste still. Well, not several. There's 2.
There's 2? Yeah.
I'll multi-attack and hit both.
All right. Do you have any special ability that reduces your multi-attack penalty?
No, I don't have anything like that.
Okay, so it'll be +2 for each attack to their defense. So it'll be your target number for them will be a 6. Difficulty 6.
Okay. Oh, that's a lot of 2s. I failed the first hit.
Okay. Oh, you got the second one. Okay. Well, no, because you're
Not
wounded.
quite. Yeah, wounded. So I'm not fully jointed back, so my limbs are kind of flaying around, really just missing.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. So, but you were the last one to attack these 2 servitors. So they turn on you and they say, "Return to your cell." And they strike out with their shock mauls. What is your defense?
It's 4.
You got this. Ooh, Wrath critical. And they hit with 3 shifts. So let's do the damage.
He don't got this. He don't got this. In fact.
Okay, what is your resilience?
7.
Oh, that's not bad. So 17, 6 with the AP. So you take 11 wounds. Do you want to roll determination
Yeah,
to
I'll
try
roll
to
real
shift
quick.
some of that to shock?
It's a 4 shift.
Okay, so you take 7 wounds and 4 shock. How you looking?
It's a lot of
Wouldn't
wounds.
it be 8 wounds? If he's got 7 minus 1 is 6, 6 and 8 is 14?
Yes. So, sorry, 8 wounds and 4 shock.
It still puts me to 9.
Okay.
I tried.
So Wigbert falls prone as these shock mauls just slam into him. But let's roll the critical first and see if there's anything worse going on here. Headshot. There's a ragged chunk of bone and brains from the opponent's skull. The foe reels, unable to focus. Okay, so you're going to take a traumatic injury. Actually, I got to roll this. Hold on. A D3. You take 3 traumatic injuries. As you take an additional wound after you go down. You're still not dead because you have to take 4 traumatic injuries to be dead, but you're not feeling particularly good. Actually, that's too cruel. I'm just going to give you the 1 traumatic injury. I don't like that, the way that's written. So, people at home, when you watch this and you want to curse me for being a benevolent GM, I'll accept that. I'll accept that cursing. But you do take 1 traumatic injury, which we'll roll now, and 1 memorable injury.
This is horrible. I'm the only one that listened and went in the cell.
But you came out.
If you'd have just stayed in there, you would have been fine the whole time.
All right, roll a D6 for me. 4. Okay. So what happens is one of these shock mauls hits you in the head. That's your traumatic head injury. And it breaks. Your skull cracks. And people can see your brain under there, and you fall. The other one gets you in the hand. In the left hand so hard that the electrical energy blows all of your fingers off of your left hand.
Ow.
Yeah, that's rough. In addition to that, you also, as you fell as you fell prone, you popped your left kneecap or your right kneecap. So you guys all see this, and you hear the horribles. I mean, you heard him pop his bones out moments ago, but this is a different sound. This is the sound of somebody's skull being caved in, and you can literally see you can see gray matter through this huge fracture in his skull as Wigbert Hahn falls prone to the ground. It is the last servitor on the southern. No, it's your turn. Sorry, it's up to you guys. Wigbert's down and hurt. Somebody could do a Medicaid check on him if they wanted to in combat, or just kill these guys off and
I'll go ahead
wear
and
his skin
attack
like a
and
suit.
kill. Yeah. I mean, that second one probably not because the flesh is weak. But Beric will try to clear a path for Celeste to take these out, and he will wild attack once more, targeting the mob in front of him. And he'll do the same thing. I'm just going to target the one and hope I do enough damage and enough successes to ride that over. So
Defense
it should be
4.
the same. Yeah, it should be the same as before. So getting my bonus for that. Defense. Okay. And all right, here we go. No, but I will spend the wrath point that I just got back because it's only fair. It's to try to helping out Wigbert. So let me go ahead and select all because that's a bad roll. That I don't like that at all.
That's a bad roll.
That's a really bad roll.
Two successes.
That's 5 successes, DN 5 for me. So yeah, that's just enough. Oh my god.
Nice.
Okay. I am going to then, since I'm doing my wild attack, one of the other aspects of my wild attack is that I can, when I roll for damage, I can essentially take shock damage to myself. So I can sacrifice shock equal to my rank, and that gives me extra damage plus ED equal to the amount of shock. We are only rank 1 right now, so it's just going to be 1. So it'll be +1. And I will go ahead and spend a glory as well. So +2 damage to what I'm about to roll. So that's going to be a total of 18 points of damage, AP 4, -4, agonizing, and brutal.
13.
Did you take any extra bits for that one?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I always forget to do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You didn't need to. What's it look like when you finish off these last 2 servitors that are here?
So as they're busy, like crunching Wigbert's head, I feel like there was like a moment where it looked like the lightning was going to dim, and then it just sort of recharges, and this second wind courses through him. And so I think he like throws the staff up in the air for a second, and like there's like a tether of electricity, and he just kind of wraps it around them, pulls them into him, and then just pummels them as he catches the staff and takes them out.
I like it. So we see them, the electricity burn through them, and their scorched, broken corpses of these 2 servitors fall, one on either side of Wigbert Hahn's prone body. Bringing us to the last servitor who just destroyed his shock maul on Sister Nura's armor. So he takes his hydraulic
to take initiative.
You may indeed seize that initiative.
I would like to do that. I'm at 6 of 10 wounds. I would like to not take any more.
That's fair. That's reasonable.
Last time because other people were more injured than me. So I'll spend a glory, putting us down to 1 glory to seize the initiative, and I'm going to try to do a multi-attack again to give myself 2 chances to shoot this person.
Okay, so your
them.
That's your target number is 6.
Yep. Nope. Try again. So right hand, No, I don't.
Okay.
So if I were to do the other thing, it would take a combat action to do it. So I'm just gonna try to give this a whirl. Second one. Come on. Better roll. Not a better roll. Worst roll. Complication in fact.
Let's see what that complication is.
Do we have to?
We're gonna do it. Yeah, let's just see.
I'm in a
Let's have some fun
corner
with
by
it.
myself. Nobody's really seeing what's going on over here. They just like heard the grenade and we're like, everything's fine now. Everything's good now.
She's got this.
If a Sister Seraphim falls and no one's around to hear, does she make a sound? Tune in,
question.
find out.
We're gonna find out right
She
now.
does. Her armor goes boom into the ground.
It's really loud. Echoes. Falls to the floor. Yeah.
Hey guys, found the second floor.
All right. I think that makes sense. So you fire off the second Inferno pistol, and the power coil in it fuses. So your Inferno pistol is basically a paperweight so you've only got one pistol left at the moment. This is repairable, but not in the moment. So you're down to one Inferno pistol. But
And I spent a glory for nothing.
you gave it a good shot. Old college try as this hydraulic claw of this last servitor comes shrieking in against your ceramite armor in an attempt to disable you / murder you and put your body into a cell. And what's your defense?
3.
Right.
Oh no. That's
Actually,
a lot.
no, I gotta re-roll that because I still had it set up as a mob with more than one in it. It would not have gotten that many dice, so I'm gonna re-roll. Three successes though.
Okay. And my
yep.
defense is 3. So its DN is 4.
No, it should not be. So I don't know why that did not succeed. But we're gonna leave it as is because it's late. I'm not gonna fiddle with it. The hydraulic claw skitters off your ceramite armor, and you are not horribly murdered by this servitor. Let's take it back to the horribly injured crew. Who's left this round? Anybody?
Celeste and Azrael, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celeste is. I'll do the heal roll on
Okay. Bert.
Wigbert. And he is dying.
Yes, he is. You get
So
the extra 2.
It's really funny how he describes his escape action by like squeezing his head and like crunching his head, and then his head gets crunched again, except the second time it really hurts because he wasn't expecting.
Maybe he weakened his own head the
That's
first time.
probably it, yeah. Dislocating his cheekbones there, it's probably, weakened his skull.
Gotta take better
and
care of
crushed.
yourself, Wigbert. Jeez.
So 7
So,
successes, 1 shift, 1 wrath critical.
So I think so you heal 1 + 1 for every shift in combat, is that correct? So you would get
Yep.
2 wounds back, Wigbert, so you were no longer dying. You could shift that point of glory, or that you could shift that wrath critical to the point of glory. But it was a wrath critical, so I'm going to say double the healing. You have 4 wounds back, as
Awesome.
Palatine Celeste, still charged by her faith with the power of the Emperor. The healing energies flow through you, Wigbert, and you feel your skull start to knit up a little bit from the holy touch of Palatine Celeste. You are no longer dying, and that leaves us with our favorite Adeptus Astartes.
Could I charge or could I turn the corner and then fire my bolt gun?
Well, you're up in melee now.
Oh, I am. Oh, so
but you can still fire your bolt.
in melee, I want to fire my bolt gun.
That's
Yeah.
totally fine.
So with my bolt gun, these weapons are capable of quickly unleashing a hail of death at close range. So I have rapid fire with it.
Mhm.
So if I hit with a rapid fire weapon at short range, I gain an extra damage dice equal to the weapon's rapid fire rating. And his rapid fire rating is 2. So I'm gonna roll with my bolt gun.
Yep. And just remember, you get +1 to hit with it. It's
Okay.
got a complication, but you hit. So
Are you gonna shoot me and kill me?
roll your damage. Yeah. Roll your damage, then we'll see the complication.
Oh.
So 12, it's actually 14 because you rapid fire 2. Its resilience is 9, 5. Okay, describe what it looks like when you destroy this servitor with your bolt gun.
So I like to think that when I stabbed it in its back, it kind of created a hole within its back, and I just shoved my bolt gun inside. And as it fires, a bolt gun shoots rounds that are basically just small little projectile rockets. So as I go up, it just starts bifurcating up his body until I get to his head, and it just makes his head and cranium explode all over the wall.
And you pull
hey there,
your
Azrael.
Your gory arm out.
And she's right behind it. She's just like, huh.
So let's roll that complication and see what went wrong.
And when that happens, okay, I will then give all praise to the Emperor on high, which meets my objective for the day is practice one of the traditions and rituals of the chapter, and they show a lot of devotion and reverence to both Lionel Johnston and the Emperor. So I give me a wrath back.
All right. Well, let's see what that complication is before we get too far away from it.
Oh, whoops! No, not my bolt gun.
You basically, when you rapid fire, so you go through the entire magazine for your bolt gun. So you are down. So you have to. So you're down 1 reload. So you're probably down to just 1 more reload of your bolt gun. But all of the enemies are dead as you pull your emptied weapon out of the back of this decimated servitor. None of you are currently dying, but you're all somewhat injured. Everything goes quiet. And as the last warden servitor falls, the flashing, strobing effect stops. And it goes just back to that red emergency lighting. And Birk, you hear a change in the binary chatter. Give me a tech roll, difficulty 3.
Okay. Can I use my Haster Cravo?
You may indeed.
Okay, difficulty 3. All right. Here we go. All right, that's good. That's going to be 7 successes with a shift. So if it would help with the quality of how I receive this, I would shift it to that.
No, you go ahead and shift it to Gloria because this is just the basic information. You're able to immediately decipher this shift in the binary chatter. And it's just saying over and over again, very quietly, test 1, test 1, test 1, test 1, test 1, complete.
Beric will, halfway through hearing it, he'll start chanting it as well, like just in like perfect echo. And then he would say, and almost like with that kind of turn up at the end, almost like it's a question like this complete. Is this some sort of, is this some sort of test that we have stumbled into? Some sort of, Okay. Perhaps we are being evaluated. Perhaps they are testing the quality of their new productions. Whatever it might be, fix Wigbert so that we might proceed. His flesh has begun to spill onto the ground.
He has returned to the walking wounded. So I mean, Wigbert's back up with four wounds back. So you're all on your feet.
Okay.
In various states of disrepair, but
I will continue checking out this southern corridor.
Perhaps we should not stray too far from one another.
Fair point. She's sort of like limping her way up to the rest of the group.
I'll move. Sorry. Go ahead.
We just know that there's a medical corridor, or part on this floor.
That there's. Yeah, you know that towards the center of the prison complex, there is a repurposing facility that has Medicaid capabilities.
I'm gonna move ahead in front of everybody. Just kind of take point in the main corridor out front.
So you guys are just going to move down the main corridor towards the center of the prison.
How long would it take for Nura to attend to her gun? Thank you, chat.
You cannot repair that here. You're gonna have to take it out and get replacement parts. Basically, the power coil within it fused. So
I see.
It's gonna need a full repair, but it's repairable as soon as you get out and get back to the dual core. It'll be able to be repaired.
Got it.
As you move towards the end of this hallway, you see this Baroque central pillar, and it's covered in purity seals. And you see brass skulls gazing down on a ring of 12 surgical tables that surround this pillar. You see complex machinery and these invasive medical tools at the ends of these mechadendrites coming down off of this central column. And you hear something around the far side of the column. It sounds like mute sobbing, wailing, muffled prayer, perhaps, to the God Emperor in Low Gothic before it sounds like something was put over someone's mouth.
Can I approach stealthily, kind of see around, see what's kind of going on?
Give me a stealth check.
Key. Stealth. Roll.
Oh, pretty good. So you are moving very quietly. And you guys, as he slides off, you never realize how incredibly quiet a dark angel could be, because as he moves away from you and starts moving into this darkened corridor, moving his way around this pillar, even in his bulky Adeptus Astartes, Mark power armor, he almost fades, and you cannot hear the heavy boots falling. But as you move around this pillar, you are faced with a horror before you. Laying on a surgical table, there's a human man. He's splayed open. His rib cage has been pulled out and aside. And you see basically containers where certain organs have been scooped out of his body and put aside as these spider-like medical servitors are conducting the basic surgery to prepare him for transformation into a basic servitor model. They are essentially removing unessential organs to prepare him for cybernetic enhancement. What do you do?
Can I tell if they're hostile, if they're part of the same group of people that are...
Give me a difficulty 4 insight check.
Oh, that's not going to work. But, let's roll it anyways. Nope.
You and your 1 dice.
They are fully focused on their surgery, but you don't know how they'll react to anything else. You have no idea.
Can I kind of beckon Beric to come up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, with that stealth check you got, you can easily move back a little bit, and I'm just going to roll your stealth check over for everybody, and you're all able to easily congregate along the north side of this pillar, if that's where you want to be.
Yeah, I think it might be. That's kind of where we should be, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So you all see what I just described, and you see, and now as you're closer, you can tell it's this sad, low, moaning wail is slipping out of this man as he is still obviously alive and conscious. You also see some of these filament-like fingers sliding in under his skin and loosening the connection between his dermis and subdermis, as if they're preparing it to have some sort of probably subdermal mesh inserted. And it's just, he's obviously been through so much pain that he's not even capable of true screaming anymore. But almost every third wail, you hear, "Emperor, protect! Emperor, protect.
This
Can
could
we-
be Lothar.
Yeah, is there any way we can? Because my insight sucks, but maybe
Give me an awareness check. I mean, you guys have seen a pictogram of Lothar, so give me an awareness check. Okay, anybody who got more than a 3 easily recognizes that this is not Lothar. And Azrael, you're looking at him, and you're sure that this is one of the enforcers that was sent in with the Administratum team. One of the actual, like an Arbites enforcer. One of the guards. You think his name was Carl, but you're not 100% sure.
So these things that are operating on him, are they like attached to like a machine, or are they kind of just like
No, they're independent servitors themselves. They have some they've got some power conduits and some cabling that are connected to the pillar, but they are clearly independent servitors themselves. And Birk, you recognize the model. They are Medicae servitors. They are specifically designed for surgical purposes.
Yeah, I mean, Birk would say to Azrael,
Far be it from me, but perhaps that one could offer information before he ceases to exist.
But how do we want to approach this? Do we want to
This
kill them?
place is hostile. Why do you hesitate?
All right. So, is there a way I can sneak up behind one of the medical servitors and attack with my knife?
Yeah, they still have not seen you, and I'm gonna roll your stealth over. You were such an amazing stealth roll. You were able to easily get behind one of them. You don't even need to roll. You slide your knife in to the back of its skull and up sever the cervical spine. It flops for a few seconds and just falls. The others do not react to you at all. They glance over, they see their companion fall, and then they just turn right around and go back to their work.
All right. Could I dispatch of the rest as well, since they don't care about it?
Easily. You're able to quickly and efficiently kill all of these Medicae servitors. And you look down and you see...
I picture me like going up and going, and then... Guys, I got him. It was real tough.
You're so brave. You are so brave.
Your hero's here. All right, and then I'll approach the man whose body's flayed open.
You look down at Carl and you see, you see the horror that they've done to his chest. You see they've already pulled one of his eyes, but they haven't severed the optical nerve yet, so it's just hanging on his cheek. But the other is looking right at you, and it focuses for 1 second on you. And he's like, the squad. Got to get back to my squad. They're in quality assurance. And you see him try to sit up. And in that very action is the last action he takes, is the strain and stress on his body causes him to have a massive stroke. And you just see blood vessels burst in his one good eye, and his body falls back dead on the slab.
Celeste will approach this dead body, and then she will perform, the rites that he deserves, before ending it with a prayer with Sister Nura, and then, turning towards the team. And it's a very quick one.
While you're up there, Sister Celeste, you get a sight around the surgical tables of these various bins. And with your high medical skill, I'm not even going to make you roll. You can see that they're all filled with disposed of organs that are considered superfluous for servitors. But you can tell most of these organs, other than the ones that they've removed from Carl, are well over a week old, if not 2 weeks old. So you would assume that that's probably when they ran out of their last actual prisoner in the facility.
Which lines up with, I believe, when they sent out that large servitor with the cage on his back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do we know where quality assurance is?
We do.
Yeah, based on the maps, you have a pretty good idea that it's down on the first floor somewhere.
Okay.
But you do know to the north of where you are currently, just around the corner in the corridor, is where the administratum is. The offices for the administratum.
Anything useful on the bodies, the servitors, or him?
Not really. I mean, they've all got surgical tools. They've got scalpel attachments and everything. He's been completely stripped. He was naked, laying on the table. So,
all right. Do you want to move on? Yeah. So I'll take lead, heading north into the administratum, I guess, stealthily.
Okay. As you go around the corner, you see another circular space, and this is an obvious office compound. In the middle, and you see one door which is sealed from the outside.
Do we know where that door leads to?
I mean, this is based on your map. It should lead into the administratum sanctum, so the office space for the administratum personnel who would normally be working in this facility and overseeing the prison.
Is there anything in this room of note?
Yeah, you're not inside. It's basically a giant circular room that's in the middle of the prison. So the door is sealed. You could definitely try to open it if you want and see what's going on in there.
Merrick, you want to try and do your magic once more?
It is not magic. And then he steps forward and tries to assess entry, see if there is some sort of locking mechanism, if this is trapped or spiked at all, and see if he can get Azrael inside.
Okay. Give me just a difficulty 4 tech test.
All right, so he gets up, he calls up Pastor Cravo, the two of them look at it. 7 successes, 1 shift. So if effective, I would put it there. That's usually my go-to.
Yeah, so you're able to, I'll say with your shift, what happens is you're able to get into the machine spirits that controls the doors, also part of the security system for the entire office space. You're able to easily disengage the electronic lock, and you're also able to activate the couple of remaining security cameras in here. Most of them have been damaged, but what you see in here is the remainder of the administratum inspection team. You see one of them in there with an auto gun kind of shaking, pointing it at the door. You see a few others over at blank cogitator banks looks like they're trying to get a cogitator, which for everybody else is a computer, back up and running because all of them seem to be dead. But most importantly, in the middle of them, you see Lothar Skult, the leader of the administratum team, as you disengage the lock. You're also able to activate the intercom communication system in there, so you can communicate with them if you want before you open the door.
And Byrrc, before opening the door, we'll turn and have Azrael do it, assuming that they would hear kind of like the sort of the. I know I do a Russian accent.
You don't have bedside manner that they're looking for?
It's more. I don't want them. Like, there's a lot of like bad tech going on in here, and I don't want them to just presume it. So I'm gonna let you speak. Like,
you're just like you all could use a lot of replacements. I can see in that.
The flesh is weak. We come to harvest you.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'll be like, hello, this is Azrael Azir with the Dark Angels and the Rogue Trader Legion from the, what's the name of the ship again? I can't remember the name of the ship again.
The Ducal Coronet is
from the Ducal Coronet. We have come to relieve you of your position and get to the bottom of the situation at hand. Please open the door and do not shoot us as we enter.
And you see the door shifts open, and standing in front of you is this frail-looking man with very shrewd eyes and thinning blonde hair and sort of a comb over. He lifts his hands to show you that he's unarmed, and you see these permanently stained, inked fingers. And he pauses for a second and he says, I am Productivity Inspector Skult. It is about time someone showed up. Please come in. And he leads you in. The door shuts behind you. They re-engage the lock. And that is where we're going to stop for tonight, as you've made first contact with the Administratum team. Now, when we pick up, if you guys want to, you can take a full respite action here. You can basically spend 6 hours resting, recuperating, and resetting your wounds and shock back to 0. I mean, these guys have been here for weeks and nothing's got to them. So if you want to do that, we can do that. And that way you'll be starting clean and fresh in 2 weeks when we get back to the action.
That's nice.
All right. Hey, Jeff, do you want me to let's talk about the giveaway?
Yeah, well, you could tell them about it. What do you want? What we're giving away, and I'll tell them how to enter.
Fantastic. So, physical copy of Redacted Records 2, the brand new Wrath and Glory book that just came out, that has all of the cool character options. You're seeing some of them here. This is the Electro Priest is in here. It's all about the Ministorum and about the Mechanicum. So it's a great source book. So we're going to be giving away a physical copy of it for you. I will let Jeff explain to you how the contest is going to work, because I will just screw it up.
So we're going to give it away on our Discord. So I've dropped a link in the Twitch chat. If you're watching this later on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on podcast feed, check the show notes, check the description of that episode. You'll see a link to our Discord. Head into our Discord. We got a giveaways channel. Hop over to that channel and just drop a comment. We're going to be chatting for the next couple of weeks about this. So drop a comment. Tell us about your favorite Warhammer faction, Warhammer 40k faction, favorite Warhammer 40k game, like if it's a video game you've played or something like that, or if there's a character from the books that you really like, anything Warhammer 40k related. Just add that, drop that into the giveaways chat. You'll be entered to win. And we're going to draw our winner next Warhammer 40k, next Wrath and Glory session, which will be in 2 weeks, which should be June 14th, I believe. And then I'll reach out and we'll sort out how to ship it to you. But that's the deal. That's how we're going to do it.
Awesome. Sorry I didn't kill anybody tonight, but I did try my hardest. I mean, I did break open
Really
Wigbert
close.
Han's skull. So, I mean, I was so close. But, maybe next time. All right, Jeff, it's all you.
All right, so yeah, we got some. Let's do some plugs then. You want to tell us about what you're doing on Garblag before I do the whole lollygagger spiel?
Oh, fantastic! Absolutely. So next Tuesday, I think Pete is going to be continuing at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do a discussion about his upcoming Mothership game. Then at the same time, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, jump back into Warhammer, but Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, as Jim's going to be GMing a group of madcap people dealing with insane halflings and everything else. And then you can come back on Thursday at the same time, and I believe Pete is going to be starting his first session of his new Mothership campaign.
Fantastic. We love Mothership here, so very excited for that. That's one of the first awesome videos I ever saw of Pete and Garblag is their Mothership video. It's one of the first things I ever saw.
It's good stuff. It's good. I can't wait to watch it. I love that Mothership.
Years ago, too. God, I feel so old now. Okay, as for us here, our next game is tomorrow, Saturday. We're back to Call of Cthulhu. We're in Mexico City, having a lot of fun. So come check that out. Monday, we're going to be doing more space shenanigans as we're going to hop over into Fragged Empire 2nd Edition. So you can come hang out with us. Tuesday night, you can see a few of us here playing in the Acid West of Frontier Scum as Steven hops back into the GM seat. Thursday next week, you can see Long go to jail in a completely different game as we were playing Symbaroum, some dark fantasy roleplay from Free League. And then next Friday is our Delta Green night. And in 2 weeks, come back with more Wrath and Glory and with the drawing of the winner of our Redacted Records 2 giveaway. With that being said, thanks for everyone for watching this later. Check out the YouTube channel, check out podcast feed, hop on Discord, say hi, all that kind of stuff. We're going to raid our friends over at Defenders of Cobalt. They're playing some Pathfinder. So have a great rest of your night. Come back tomorrow. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.